you know how I feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
So, 1, 2, 3. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here we go. Let's get live here. Okay, sweet. All right. Everybody's here. Not the best camera angle tonight, but get some pretty big news. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing great. Happy Thursday. I am sorry for the slightly late start here, but I just want to give you a sort of a personal update, and it sort of explains why I am running a little late and needing water. Okay, so this house behind me, or the house that I live in, is owned by Beth. Okay, the house that I am in right now is owned by Beth, and it has been painted this wonderful green color for ever. Sorry, my background's driving me crazy. There we go. Okay. All right, you got my full attention now. Okay, so I have been living in this house since 2014, and it's had this beautiful green color that's been painted in here, and it has always had pretty cool colors. And with Sheila having moved away and just wanting to sort of freshen up things, I've been painting the house. Actually, me and Tara have been painting the house, and she's looked up all these great colors, and this color behind me is actually sort of still looks green because I think I need to tweak the cameras, but it's actually like a sort of almost really, really light gray. And so right before class tonight, I just finished. And so always want to just keep things real with you. Usually for these classes, I typically have a lot of the class planned out. But it's been a big personal week. I've been working on the house constantly. It started with my swap 7, which I still haven't really explained, but it was really kind of brutal for me. But a lot of good came out of it, and the cleaning part of it, and just sort of the freshening the house up. Anyway, I just got done with all this painting. I hope it looks okay. It still kind of looks green on screen, but it is definitely not green anymore. But tonight I had planned on doing a 2-point class, but given the fact that this class had 0 promo, I didn't promo it at all. I just made a promo just about a half hour ago for the class. I thought we could also take the opportunity to do a help desk. Now, we don't have to do this, but a help desk is where if you have requests, and they can be like, they don't have to necessarily be like help questions. Like you could say, like, could we do a shoulder song? Or can we do gooiness? Or can we do balance? Or can we do whatever? And then if you guys have any suggestions, I'll write them down and we'll go with that. If we don't get any suggestions, then I'd like to do kind of a medium-paced 2-point class. So I will give you a second, since I know there's a delay, to answer that question. Oh yeah. Tara is with me tonight. That's her on the floor. Spring refresh. Yeah, like I don't know what's the normal interval for house painting, like the indoors? I don't know what it is. Is it 10 years? Is it 5 years? I mean, I know when you're 16 it's like every week, but other than that, like, I mean, when I was a kid, I mean college, I painted everything. I mean, that was like my first official freedom. So anyway, paddle barrel rolls. Okay. And that's from Jackie. All right, guys. You don't have to have suggestions. I've been doing this a long time. But if you have any, that's what the help desk is for. And they can be anything. They could be just like that. It could be a question or core. It can also just be a technique that you like. Like if you need some self-esteem tonight and you just want to do a class that you rock at or whatever. Okay, so Kelly is on board with Jackie. And if nobody has any suggestions, this is just what all my classes are like. No one ever makes a suggestion except Anne. And her suggestions are always esoteric. Anne will make a request for like a class of green. Okay, so not a lot of people are chiming in on questions right now. So I don't know, maybe because I don't know how many people are watching. Maybe there's not that many watching since I didn't promo it. Maybe you guys thought I was taking a break off, or maybe you just don't have suggestions. So I don't want to delay too much longer. Paddle barrel rolls. I'm gonna remember that one. All right. Okay. Yeah. Rex has been amazingly chill today. A friend of mine has a great line. Oh. Changing directions at the shoulders. Okay, those two things will go together. And guys, just people, just so you know, you can shout these suggestions all night long, so there's not like we're missing something here. So I do want to go ahead and get started. We're going to start off kind of slow tonight and give you a chance to really stretch if you're a stretcher. And again, I apologize for the slightly late start. I don't think I've been this bad lately, but it's been a busy week. I have been working my butt off. Audible breath in. It's almost spring. I think we're 9 or 10 days away from spring. I think 9 maybe. Audible breath in. The weather here in North Carolina has been giving us glimpses this week of what spring's going to feel like, and I can't wait. To me, it feels like something magical is about to happen. I believe we're finally getting a handle on this pandemic, and we'll be able to be out again without fear or worry. We'll be able to hug again, make dinner in people's houses, throw parties. As soon as the coast is clear, I think we're all going to spring. Audible breath in. If you've been feeling weary lately about things, stay the course. Stay with us here. Stay with your friends. If your routine is healthy, stay with your routine. Because spring is coming. Audible breath in. For the last few moments of our sway tonight, I want you to take big breaths in, almost as if you're pulling spring toward us. You're pulling that spring air with every breath, and you're breathing out that winter air. Audible breath in. Okay. All right, we're gonna move into our first exercise. I am reading your requests. If you're joining us late, this is a help desk class, which basically just means I'm taking requests. You're not going to throw me off. You're actually going to help me out if you make a suggestion. So far, we have paddle barrel rolls, shoulder breaks, shoulder reversals. Then we just had one. Dropping into body hooping off of a roll. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not that great at that one. Let's see if there's anything. Sweet, Carla. Yeah, we're going to do the wall of Zoom again, guys. I think just, unless nobody joins, we're going to do the wall of Zoom again on Sunday. Okay, so I think I've got everything here. Dropping into barrel rolls off of body rolls. Okay, yeah, I think I got that. And then centering. Okay, cool. All right, so let's do, these are kind of core oriented, so I'm thinking that maybe I will change speeds a little bit here. And let's do some core hooping. I hope the song doesn't get us kicked off. If you're watching on Facebook, Facebook tends to shut the feed down and it doesn't really look that good. So if you want the best looking stream and the one that won't get shut down, go to HoopPath Backs. HoopPath Backs. All right, we're on the waist. We're just going to take it nice and easy. Good warming up. Now, I don't think there's too many new people here. I didn't promo the class, but if you're new, since this is the Foundations class, I'll give you a couple of pointers. Even though the hoop is on your waist, in the hoop path, we're always trying to remember to move our hands too, or to be aware of them. Okay, we don't have to get too cute, whatever. It's just being aware. Like if you're in a really bad mood and you don't know what to do, you can just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 it off, whatever. But the idea, the thing is that I have learned is that the body learns with rhythm and repetition. And if most of your effort you spend learning to hoop with your arms T-rexed, then your body remembers that form. It almost feels weird when you go out of the T-rex. And so it's a slow process of teaching yourself. Another point of emphasis is day and night. And day means the front half of your body, and the night means the back half, or basically you're looking at my meridian right now and everything behind me, so my palms are actually day, right? And so by remembering my day and my night, I start to open up all the different surface that I can put push on the hoop. And then as we talked about last class and what Tara's doing right now, if I bring some up and down into my motion, that coming up and coming down actually puts what I call G's on the hoop. G's, and like gravitational forces. And the more, don't science nerd me here, but the more G's you put on something, the flatter and the steadier the hoop looks, right? Sarah asked about centering. Core hooping can be very, very centering. I can imagine my two trees doing exactly the same thing, and they're holding my center, right? They're holding that center line. Or I can free up my two trees and move them side by side, and now they're moving around that center line. All right, we're gonna bring it up to the shoulders if you're ready. Oh, actually, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let's go back down to the waist for a second, and let's reverse. Reverse. If you struggle in second current, whether it's at the waist or the shoulders, think about your night side. Think about the night side as it comes around. As the hoop comes around and moves on top of the night side usually is neglected, and activating it with flatten the hoop. Night side being your back. Reverse. Now I'll give you a little pro tip. Pulling your stomach in and popping it out. This might be a little too fast to do it, but doing that sometimes will help you when you're trying to do extended balances. Sometimes even just flexing the abs will help you do an extended balance. And this is what I mean by it. Like if I'm taking big steps, I'm tightening my abs. Now some people tighten and loosen, tighten and loosen, tighten and loosen. I'm just tightening my abs. Just when I come up, heart rate up. And then we'll take the hoop up to the shoulders if you'd like, but you can keep it anywhere. Gooey, okay. We'll finish with Gooey tonight. Thank you for the suggestion, Sharon. Don't be shy if you have a suggestion. Now we're going to come back down to the waist, and we're going to reverse, and we're going to come up to the shoulders in second current. Reverse, and however you do it, come up from the waist into second current. And then this is one of those places where you thinking about the night side push can really make a huge difference, right? Like think about your shoulder blades pushing, if that's where the hoop sort of is, pushing back and slightly up. Like I wish I could put my arrows on, I guess. But my shoulder blades, sometimes it can help to almost think of them as pushing like up and away, like in my case, the ceiling corner behind me there. Now, not too much or I'll angle it, but it'll help me flatten the hoop out. I want to do second current. And then the absolute biggest piece, probably advice I can give you guys, if you're struggling with second current, it's almost always one of two things that are the problem. You're not moving one of your arms / shoulders, or you're not moving your feet at all. Because when you're learning second current, you're going to need to do one of those two things, right? Because if I'm not going to move it, I can just move my feet constantly, or do a rock step. If you struggle with second current, do you see how I don't know if you can see this, but I'm not moving my shoulders really at all, right? I'm not moving them at all. I'm just rock stepping back and forth. It's tiring as shit, and it doesn't look cool, but just to prove a point. All right, let's bring it back down to the waist. Lower the heart rate a little bit. Keep the hands moving. One thing you can do, especially like when you're not feeling particularly creative, because it shows up and really helps in folding, is in waist hooping, start to get the hands higher, right? Just get used to it. You know, because in your regular life, you don't walk around with your hands like this. You look like a freak. In hooping, you kind of look like a freak doing it too. But just pretend like that, you know, this DJ is killing it. But teaching your arms how to stay high will make all the folding work that we do seem a little bit more breezy. Plus, it's just good. All right.
Black in the club, you be doing your thing.
Okay, here we go. So let me do a little bit of teaching here. Since we had the request was for shoulder breaks, Sarah specifically, and or shoulder reverses, changing current, that sort of thing. That's where we're. So I'm here, and I am. All right, I'm just making sure you guys can hear me. It's cool. Okay, so where was I? Oh yeah, for second current, or for changing current. So when we come up, a break is when you stop the hoop and then you send it back. If it keeps going the whole way, it's reverse. If it just goes to the next hand, it's a break. So I'm here, and there's two things you can do to really help yourself make the stop, okay? To make the break, and that is to turn with the hoop. Let me see if I can, okay, yeah, actually, that's a, let's see. Up, okay. Let's see. Okay, don't know what just happened there. Okay, sorry guys, something just weird just happened. I want to bring in this camera here. So as the hoop is spinning around me here, I'm going to turn with it. It's almost like I'm trying to catch a fish or something. I don't know if that really helps. Not too many people try to catch fish with their hands, but you're sort of getting out in front of the hoop to make the stop, and you're using your turning, this sort of turning on the axis here. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, now we're going to do start off with second PM breaks, or that's the second tree hand. So if you can see up there, the hoop is coming towards my extended hand right now. I'm hooping to the left, it's coming to my left hand. So that's the hand I want you to use, or if you're going to the right hand. Now I'm going to look, well, I don't want to look down, but it'll help. I'm going to bring my hand out in front of the hoop, turn with it, stop, and then send it back and flatten the hoop to my core, right? So I'm here. I'm going to flatten it to my core, okay? Now, everybody knows how to do that, right? So now I'm going to do the same break, but this time what I want to do is I really want to make sure that the hoop goes into a waist piace, a waist balanced rhythm, as fast as possible. So when I make the reverse, I'm going to start, like, I'm thinking about my core already hooping, right? Like whatever motion I'm going to use, the moment I stop it and send it back, I'm trying to get in that gear as fast as I can, okay? Now, if I just do a series of these breaks, if I just do one after the other here, I'm probably not going to be like shifting into gear as fast, but it does help to think about it, like to think, well, what if I didn't? I could keep going, right? But what this does do is it helps you start to get a sense of touch on the hoop's plane, the angle of the hoop. And so as I send it around, each time I make a break or a reverse, I have a chance to correct the hoop as it goes around, right? Boom, boom. Okay, now come up to the shoulders. When it comes to the shoulders, what I recommend you do, let's see if we can sit up here. I'm going to stop the hoop. The hoop's going to the left. I'm going to stop it with my left hand. That's called a PM break. That's because the hoop is rolling towards that hand. This hand's going to fly out in front and bring it back to the core, okay? Fly out, and as my hand is coming up, the hoop is boom, all right? And then I'm going to let it twist, and may even feel a little flex in the, in the hoop pipe. Now, I'm going to give you some pro tips. One pro tip, especially if you don't want it to hit your chest, right? Like if for whatever reason you need it to totally skip the day side. When you come over here and make the break with the PM, so the left hand stopping the hoop on the left, you can bring the shoulder forward some, You can start to sort of protect a little bit, or bring the arm, because whatever you do, what really makes these breaks, what really smooths them out and graces them up, right, is when the two arms are kind of working together. And then, like, if I do want it to hit my chest, right, like let's say I want it to ride, hit this nice, sometimes it feels good and it's good speed. If it comes right through here, I do the same thing. I use that other shoulder in tandem with the breaking hand so that it will open the chest or smooth it out. Now remember when we were just doing the breaks back and forth like that, and I said every time is a chance to level the plane? On shoulder breaks, it's really important, okay? Because it's hard to hoop on the shoulders at first, and if you're always sending the hoop in some wonky way, it's going to be really hard. So what's best to do is to turn with it, you know, and maybe I'm doing what's called a series of reverses right now, where I'm allowing the hoop to make one rotation all the way around. But I'm serious. I really think a good tip is to think about both shoulders, not just the breaking hand shoulder, but the other shoulder. Like think about them both. As I break, come back and forth. Okay, sweet. Let's play some music and give you a chance to practice some breaks, and then we'll get into the other two requests. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on. All right, again, if you have any questions, you can fire away. Now, if you want to shoulder break and you have trouble sometimes keeping the hoop flat, which is common, one thing you can do is a two-handed break or a two-point break, and that's when I stop the hoop and then bring it back towards me. Stop the hoop and I bring it back towards me. It's kind of like, I think Anne might call it a cradle break, I'm not really sure, but both hands come up. It really requires that first tree, that AM side to come all the way across. What breaks really is your body figuring out the timing of them, and then the reach. Now these are PM breaks. There's one little thing you can do to kind of make the break, to make the breaks a little bit tighter if you want to. And this is, I've taught this to you guys before, but instead of, watch how I'm breaking right now. Do you see how my arm is kind of staying, my elbow is staying tucked to my body, both elbows are staying tucked, okay? What I want to suggest you do is the total opposite of that. So instead of tucking them, bring them up almost as high as you can, because what will happen is you can get your hand so high, the elbow so high that your hand is almost running in parallel. And when you have that, you see how I'm kind of pinching the hoop now by having the elbow so high. I'm really pinching it between my sort of bicep, tricep, whatever, my bicep and tricep probably, and then whatever you call this. So I'm holding it right there. So it's almost not even like hitting my back. You can kind of see if I get down into earth angle. All right, we'll do 30 more seconds of practice and then we'll move on to the barrel rolls. move I was talking about is kind of similar to one of the ones that we've done in Knox 2. And basically the whole idea is that you start to get your wrist and then this crook of the elbow more in a connection, right? Everybody's arms are different and everybody's got weird things. But this kind of becomes a way to break. And it's the same thing inside the hoop, right? Like it can become the same feeling. Okay, so I feel like I'm going to let, I think Kelly, whoever suggested this down, about falling into barrel, like, if I remember right, I want to make sure I got this right, body hooping off of a roll or something to that effect. And so I don't really know if I should be the one to tell you this. I mean, I think what people do, and if you're wearing headphones, actually, let me just turn this off for a second. I mean, that was beautiful. Maybe I should teach it. But I think that might be what you mean, is, you know, sort of like this body roll. I destroyed my mic on that, so I'm glad I had it off. I'll try one more again, see if Okay, you know what? Maybe I'm not the best person to teach you that. But I can tell you, just based on my first half successful attempt, you should be bouncing. Whatever goes in that kind of move should be bouncing, and it might be just an initial, just boom, you know, just to get enough G's on it to move it. I've taught it before. Oh, wait, are you talking about okay, so you might be talking, are you talking about dropping into an angle? Or, you know, I know the terminology, everybody's got their own words, so I don't expect you to know. Oh, no. Oh, from hand, oh, okay. I think you mean like this. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, well, that's a good one. Okay, so I'm holding HoopPath basics. Okay, so I'm rolling the hoop towards. Let's just go with this. If this isn't right, we'll do it. I promise, Kelly, we'll get up and we'll figure it out. But this is a cool move to learn anyway. So I'm rolling the hoop towards you guys. Okay, this is the right one. And what I'm going to do, whatever hand you're rolling it on, to do it like I'm about to do it, whatever hand you're rolling it on, okay, it's going to be traveling the direction that you think you could barrel roll in. So like if you hoop to the left or something, if you hoop to the left, you would actually be rolling the hoop to your right hand, towards your right hand, right? And that's super confusing, but that's the way it goes. So like if I'm holding the hoop in my left hand, most people hoop left current, but it's an easy reverse. So I'm holding the hoop in my left hand here, right? And it's traveling, it's going in falling current towards my right hand, if that makes sense. Falling current towards my right hand. And then what I'm gonna do, and I'll show you, switch now to here, what I'm going to do, and you can kind of put an angle on it. You see how I just sort of put a little bit of an angle where it's almost like it's a bus windshield to me right now. That just helps it go on a little bit smoother. And then I'm going to pull the hoop towards me. And as I pull it towards me, I'm going to turn. I can almost put my eyes on this hand or something and turn with it as I let go, okay? So I'm here, right? And I'm going to turn with it as I let go, and I'm going to move into the hoop, okay? So I'm here. Now, it can be a little scary, and that's why with this one, you actually can get a little gooey with your grip on this one, because you can almost set it to where you want. There's enough time. Okay, so once again, I'm rolling it to the left. It's towards my right hand, or if I wanted to, I'll do it the other way just so you guys can understand. I'm holding it in my right hand now, and it's in a falling current towards my left hand, okay? And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn towards, I should say that, I'm turning towards the hand that's holding the hoop, right? I'm turning towards the right hand, and I'm going to bring it, there, go, whoa, all right, okay, all right, boom, okay. So again, I'm holding my right hand, it's in a falling current towards my left hand. I'm going to look to my right hand, and I'm gonna pull the hoop in. I'm gonna pull it towards me, right? So what happens is I'm pulling it towards me so I can get inside of it, right? So I'm not throwing the hoop onto me. I am pulling it, but I'm also kind of stepping into it. Sometimes the stepping into it can really help you too. Oops, let me go. Yeah, in the right hand? All right, I'm in the right hand. I'll do it this way. And let's see here. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit of an angle on it back towards you guys, and then I'm gonna turn in. Boom, boom, boom. Now, one of the things that you learn, whatever the drop-in is, these are called drop-ins, is that, like I said before, the quicker you get into that gear, the better. Oh, it's working good. Sweet. Okay, cool. Okay. All right, let me put some music on just for a second. I do want to get to, I think we have time to get to all these requests. We'll finish with Gooey. I want to make sure I don't play a song that gets me kicked off. All right, this is a good one for these. Tara's asking a question about when you drop into it. Now, here's the thing. It's really hard to, I don't have, so Tara's asking me, where, sweet Kelly, Tara's asking me where in the rotation, and that can be, actually, maybe we should just do that move, actually. Let me show you something here. This one this kind of is an entry-level move to the one we just did. Instead of turning with it, I'm going to try to bring it onto my core and roll it over the shoulders and then pull it back off. And this is a great little circuit trick for this. So I'm holding my left hand, it's rolling towards my right. I'm going to come in, pop it around a couple of times, and then come back out of it, okay? Yep, good. And then if you can only do one turn, that's almost better because you can do this old school move. This is about the most old school move that ever came out of my backyard. But this is really just a shortened abbreviation of the move we were just doing. Instead of turning into a barrel roll with it, I'm just going to lock in, stop for a second, bounce, do my thing, and let the hoop roll across to the other hand.
Until the walls come down. It's time to give a little to the kids in the middle, but until it falls won't bother me.
Yeah, these moves can be really, really fun. Really, really fun. And they can be done with both hands, right? You can, it's a little bit harder, but you can, I can roll. I'm rolling. I have the hoop in my right hand. Now I'm rolling to the right, and I can still do the move, of course.
Since 1966 now, might be over now.
And this might be a little too hoop nerdy, but what makes all of these drop-ins really bang is you give the hoop a little bit of a push, and it's kind of some grace to it. So if you push too much, you'll throw it off, or it won't even hit you. So you just give it a little bit of a push, and so when I'm doing some of these barrel rolls, in a way, I'm actually stalling the hoop in my hand and then pushing it, right? See what I mean? Out. Old school. Okay, cool. Oh, oops, so we got about 10 minutes, and I think we got enough time to hit all this stuff. Okay, so the very first request of the night was by the amazing Jackie, and she wanted to do paddle barrel rolls. And, okay, cool. So paddles, let's just so we're all in the same. I'm getting a little distressed because the hoop community at large seems to be forgetting. It's like they think breaks and paddles are the same move. This is a break, okay? And this is a paddle, okay? A paddle is when I am pushing the hoop, right? With my arms or my hands. Basically, any part of my arm that pushes the hoop is a paddle, okay? And then just, I think, not to overwhelm you, but I think this might help you understand what a paddle is. This would be a paddle stall, right? This is where I push it off the body, and then I just stall it, right? So those are paddle stalls, okay? So these are what paddles are, right? And one of the ways that angle hooping can really help you learn paddles, and paddles can help you learn angle hooping, is to try and do them together, okay, especially at the shoulders. So if I'm, well, only at the shoulders, really. So if I'm wanting to learn some shoulder hooping, I'm just gonna go ahead and start in this angle right now, and then I'm gonna start the hoop, and then I'm gonna try to pull one hand in, and it's just gonna push down. It's just gonna fall. It's barely even gonna. Now for this to work, you're going to, and this might help you learn how to start it, you're gonna want the hoop to be pretty up and down, okay? This is not like a shallow angle, this is a pretty deep angle, right? So I'm here, and I'm push, and you really, what I wanna show you about this is that you really don't push. It's kind of more of a sleight of hand. It's almost like the hoop just comes up, kisses it, and drops, okay? Okay, and this is a great exercise. I know this is kind of hard to get at first, but these paddles, especially if you paddle towards the corners, I wish I had my arrows on right now, because if my paddles are essentially pushing this way, right? They're not pushing down so much once I get two on there. They're pushing, good, good. Oh, okay, so flatten your back a little bit. It'll help you get the arms in there. That's okay. We were all worried. We called the cops, K-Swift. I'm glad you're safe. Just tell them it's our bad. But we're here. I push down, push down, push down, push down, push down. Now, I've flattened one of the things that will help me. Now, I know that before on the breaks, I was saying to bring your shoulders together. But when you want to keep an angle going, the wider you are, I think the more helpful it is. There's just more surface area to control the hoop, more different places to push, okay? So as you're doing it, I'm almost like some of you, sometimes it helps to really send the shoulders back, like you feel exaggerated, right? And you can start that way, see? And I'll pull back and then bounce, 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 bounce. I'm lifting my heels up off the ground. Good. Okay, so getting into the barrel roll part of this. So if I'm here and I'm doing these, I get one paddle. If I can even just get a few successful paddles going, right? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, so I'm going to the left, and I'm going to take my left leg and I'm going to bring it across behind me in night, okay, just like this, and then I'm going to pivot, boom, on the balls of my feet, and I'm going to turn into this angle, okay? So I'm here, right? I'm going, my hoop is traveling to the left, okay? I'm going to take my left leg, so just reverse it, easy reverse. I'm going to take my left leg, drop it behind me, spin, and then here, I'm just going to start to freak out. And this is where paddles actually were born, okay? I used to hoop with a giant hoop way back in 2001 and 2002, and that hoop would run out of gas when I would go up into sky angle. And so there were a lot of reasons I got into paddling, but one of the big reasons was that to keep this hoop from slamming into me, right, or to be able to push it back into the sky, I would bring my arms up just like this. Now, I'm a big fan of paddling with the backs of the hands and why can't I remember what these are called? Forearms. God. But I'm a big fan of paddling with that. And the reason why is that, see how tight I can get my hands and my arms to my chest? So I can get up under the hoop really easily. It's not causing it to wonk at all. I just slip it up there and then I push it out. Okay? So I'm here, and this is me paddling. Now, on the earth angle, if you do get to this point where you can get it, you'll start to feel that there is a little bit of, like you can do a little bit more than just sleight of hand, just letting the hands fall. You can start to push a little bit. And when you start to push, you'll want to push towards the corners. And then, Jackie, the long answer to your question, that's great, Tara. The long answer to your question is that I'm paddling, and I just keep paddling, okay? I don't wait to start paddling ever. So I'm here, I'm in this paddle, right? And I'm just going to keep paddling all the way through it. Because what's happening is that my paddles, especially if, all right, so I want to get my hands once they're in. Okay, I hope I'm not confusing you. They come up, they get in the hoop, but then once they're in the hoop, then they create these kind of like invisible air springs, and they just bounce. Boom, 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 okay? So the hoop, their hands, and once you get good at paddling, they actually can do so much more than your chest ever could as far as putting push on the hoop. So when I'm here, I'm pushing, and I don't know if you can see it. Well, let me just freeze for a second. Do you see, like, the hoop's nowhere near my chest at this point. My forearms are out. No, my hands are curved out over the hoop. That's just to make sure. Those are guardrails. Like, now the hoop's not going to hit me in the face. It can't, right? Sweet. I love the chopsticks class. I'm glad you got something out of that. Yeah, so the best thing to do, though, and with paddles, whether you're learning them flat or learning them for barrel rolls, is to do one, and just try to do one successful one. Don't get, too cute or too ambitious. Just do one successful one. One. Well, I guess I just gave you the bad advice. Yeah, I would just try to do them continuously, but maybe not alternate hands. All right, let's put some paddle music on and see if we can. All right, this music is going to be kind of aggressive, but then we'll do some Gooey to close the night out. What's that? No, we're not going to forget Gooey. We're going to slow it down right now. Oh, sweet. Nice, Jackie. All right, we'll close out with 2 Gooey songs. We'll run a little bit over, but not bad.
The shoes? It's gotta be the shoes, cause girlies they clap. They stand about the dock, so I say boom, shakalak. Grab the microphone, then rock. To take the truth when on the mic, I'll say anything that sounds good. Like jump and sound over some, they got in the hat and a mouse ran up the stairs.
Now that didn't make no sense.
Come on, who cares? See, everyone's out to get the show, so don't be trying to knock me. I say what I want to say as long as it sounds funky. Some bitches wanted to buy me, so they try to take stands. But they don't understand, I'm the motherfucking man. I am his and us down. Look them up and down, smack a few of them around. Let them know who is the drum, who's the tip of the top, the cream of the crop, the best under the sun.
I don't want to talk too much during this, but I just want to say one thing is that if you do start to get this, like you watch this on replay, you start to get it, you can break the 2 hands from, instead of just pushing at the same time, to 1-2. The AM to PM will 1-2, right? So if you're going to the left, your right hand and then your left hand, you can 1-2 it and start to get even faster paddles.
Well, I'm boom, shakalak. I got the fragrance, the funk, and it's smelling up the hip hop. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, mixed a little with this, and now I got a rap. I'm the chief rocker, so I guess I am in charge. I freak it with the twist, so you're booming in your cars. I'm the one with the flow, in the grip like G.I. Joe. I snatch, I grab, and then I grab the dough. See, if I was an Indian, I'll still be the chief. The only other difference, I smoke weed in a leaf. To the hip, the hop, to the hippity hip hop. Oh no, I don't wanna go pop. I got too much soul, rhythm and blues, R&B. You see, all that's cool, but hip hop and rap, yeah, that's where my heart's at. Even back when I used to break on a box, backspin for backspin, even while I'm rapping. Before I had a record, I always kept on clapping, freestyling on the block. Now I chief rock, I always entertain by digging in my crocs, my brain. So if it's gonna rain, let it rain. I spook you with the hit, make you jump like House of Pain. Boogaloo, boogaloo, shake and jump. And remember, Chief Rock, I won't front.
Come on, Chief Rocker, number 1, Chief Rocker. Come on, Chief Rocker, number 1, Chief Rocker. Come on, Chief Rocker, number 1, Chief Rocker. Come on, Chief Rocker, Chief Rocker.
Hey, Mr. Funky,
What's up?
can I get assistance?
For what?
For what? Yo, Jazz Flex a cut. Go back is the rocker. I'm chillin' with my knocker. And if you got beef, then you can live with Jimmy Hoffa. Like
What goes up must come down.
but not me, clown. I cut him. Crack a speaker when I'm pumping. So jump in and watch your ears start humming through the block. And don't forget to boom, shock, shock a lot.
Well, then do it all. Can I rock? I hear a beat, I grab the mic. And then I start to slacking. The kids around the
sweet. Okay. All right. I don't know if Sharon's still with us, if she made it through this part this long, but we'll get to some Gooey stuff. And it's kind of cool the way this is sort of working out. This is why I like to get your suggestions, because there actually is a pretty easy transition to Gooiness from here. And one of the ways that we can do this is through paddles and reverses and things like that. Let's start with a reverse into Gooiness, okay? So a reverse into Gooey-ness. And so Gooey is just imagining that someone poured non-suffocating honey all over you, and it made you and your hoop sticky. And so there's this or maybe think of it static electricity cling or something like that. So that is sort of what is creating the goo. So if I'm up here and I am doing my paddles, if I raise my hands up, the hoop is off of me, and then I can bring the hoop down and just let it fall. Now, I'm not going to grip it to let it fall. I'm just going to let it fall. So I'm here, right? And I'm going to push up into it, and then I'm going to let it fall. Do you see how it goes into this hang? Good. Now, the less I use my grip, the more I will start to develop this coordination. Oh, wait, what am I doing? Yeah, sorry, I'm on the way. And then I can also bring it down and put it around me. I can move into the backpack or whatever they call that thing. We used to just call it point. Okay. The break version, that's the lift version. The break version of going into Gooey, let's just do the one that most of us can do on the waist or the shoulders. Let's do the PM break. That's the one we were just practicing with. I can bring the break up, and then I can just let it nice fall and get nice and gooey, and immediately I put both hands, or if you don't have to, but I'm going to go ahead and put both hands on it. Both hands are really good for Gooey because you can make your movement really solid but graceful. And then I guess you would say that the lift is kind of the paddle way, but I'll show you one more. I guess it technically is a lift, but I can paddle out. I'm going to use my night side of my hands to paddle out, make that contact, and then just stall with it. It's nice, sweet Sharon, stall with it to put it into that gooiness, okay? So I'm here, and I can just bring it up. See how, now we've done that move before. And if you like that move, I love this move. If you like it, push the hands up. It'll cause the hoop to stall almost immediately, right? And if you're not, if you're not ready to work on this move, you don't have to, but basically here's what we're doing. I'm pushing my hands, and then if I raise my hands up above my head, the hoop will fall. Yep. Good. So with Tara, if you were watching Tara, what she just did was a paddle stall lift. We don't have cute names for things in HoopPath. We just name all the components of what she just did. So this would be some Gooey from this. This is how I usually get into it. And then what I like about Gooiness, I just like the sort of sensual nature of it, just the idea of just the sense of touch that you feel with Gooey. It does not necessarily have to be slow, but most of the time it is. Okay, let's see if we can practice some of those, and I'll...
So when you call me back, if I broke your heart,
once you're in Gooey,
how should I react?
That contact can be your muse to tell you how to move, okay? So I'm here, I'm going to move into my goo.
So why'd you call me?
And I'm just feeling all the points of contact that the hoop is making with me right now.
If I broke your heart, how should I react? If you say it was broken from the start, why'd you call me back? If I broke your heart, how should I react?
technique. It may not be for everybody, but you can do like, kind of like, there's sort of like reverse of hand walking or something. But you can do like these gooey contact rolls, like where the hoop is, like I'm using my core as a point of contact, and then I'm just walking my hands through it. This is me just using one hand, I'm just resting it. Outside wall of the hoop is on my skin though right now, so that's what's creating the second point.
Should I read it? You say it was broken from the start. Why'd you call me back? If I broke your heart, how should I react? You say it was broken from the start. I never said that I was gonna stop trying. When something keeps breaking, the pieces get smaller and harder to find. That's why you called me back. When I broke your heart, see how I'd react when you said it was broken from the start. Keep calling me back.
Okay. Alright, I think we're already over. I think rather than do a hoop, a free hoop, we'll just do one more gooey song and call it a night. But I just wanted to say there's one more aspect that this is a good one to chill on, but there's one more aspect of goo that can be really helpful, and that is to let the hoop hang here. Like just opening things is not the best way, it's not the right way, but you can just hang the hoop here from you, and I'm feeling it on, maybe put your neck inside of the hoop. Yeah, oh yeah, there you go. And then I'm gonna take, whatever, I'm gonna take my left arm. The hoop is making contact on my right leg. The left and right doesn't matter. And I'm just gonna push the hoop around. But what I'm really feeling for is actually the contact that's happening on my legs. And I'm gonna try to keep the hoop really high up on my shoulders right now and just really see if I can, let the legs, the hanging that the hoop is touching. Tara's hoop's a little bit big, so it's hitting her legs more like at shin level. But mine are more like thigh. And this will be our last song tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. But the final suggestion I was going to make is, as you have this contact, it can be fun to open up. It might look silly at first, but to open up really big movements and feel that hoop. I'm not doing a very good job of this right now. To step into it, there we go. If you have good balance, I can pull through, kind of walk the hoop around. This is when legs become paddles. What I like about goo is the permission to go slow. it's worth, I'm noticing that hanging it from the neck is probably the easiest way to feel this connection to the legs that I was talking about. Would like a class just on Gooey. We haven't done one in a while. I would love to. Oh, sweet, Sarah. That's great. Yeah, if you'd like to have a Gooey class, we did one a long time ago. I'd love to try it again. I feel like it was a pretty good class. I might remember. It was a long time ago, though. Anyway, thank you guys so. Oops. Okay. Thank you guys so much for everything. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys on Sunday Zoom wall if you want to join us. Have a great night.